Hi. All right, so have you looked through this problem? We'll go through the answers here together to make sure that we're all on the same page about how to solve these monopoly problems. All right, so here we have one firm. That's the key to identifying that this is a monopoly problem. And we know that demand for this product is given by P equals 60 minus Q. We've also got a marginal cost curve here, and then there's never going to be a fixed cost in this type of monopoly problem. So the first step, what we're going to do is to graph our demand curve and our marginal cost curve, just so we can orient ourselves in this problem. That's a little bit steep there. So we've got demand is equal to 60 minus Q, so both the X and Y intercept are equal to 60. And then the marginal cost curve is going to start at 0, and it is equal to 1/2 Q. So we've got demand and marginal cost plotted on our graph here. And then the first question is, what price and quantity would maximize the firm's profits? So remember, we have identified that this firm is indeed a monopoly, so we're going to be setting marginal revenue equal to marginal cost. And in order to do that, we just need to find our marginal revenue equation, which we know is equal to the demand curve, but with the slope multiplied by 2. So in this case, marginal revenue is equal to 60 minus 2Q, and we can set that equal to our marginal cost equation. We get 60 is equal to 2.5 Q, so our monopoly quantity is equal to 24. On our graph, we're going to have to first plot the marginal revenue equation. So we've got the curve starts at 60, and then the x-intercept will be 30, because that's half of the x-intercept of the demand curve. Then this intersection here, from marginal revenue and marginal cost, that tells me that this is my profit maximizing quantity. And to get the price, I will come up to the demand curve for the monopoly profit maximizing price. So we got to go back to the demand curve here and plug in 24 for Q. Oops. So I see that the monopoly profit maximizing price here is 36. All right. So the next part says, how much would the market produce if it were perfectly competitive? So the big difference here, right, is a monopoly sets marginal revenue equal to marginal cost, and in competition, we've just got price equals marginal cost, which occurs right here, right? I know from my demand curve that price is equal to this equation, and I can set that equal to my marginal cost equation. That will give me the outcome for a perfectly competitive market. So that's 60 equals 1.5 Q. And in perfect competition, then this market would be supplied with 40 units of this product, and then we can plug that back into obviously either demand or marginal cost to get the price. You can see the pricing competition is much lower than in the monopoly situation, and the quantity supplied is going to be much higher in competition than it is in monopoly. Another way of saying that is that the monopoly will restrict its quantity in order to raise its prices so that it can make a lot of profit. It's good for the firm, but it's not good for consumers, and it's not good for society. So we can see that by calculating the loss in economic efficiency, or what we call deadweight loss, that results from the monopoly in this market. Monopoly is restricting its quantity. Remember, deadweight loss always comes from this decrease in the quantity exchanged, and increasing its price. So we get deadweight loss here equal to this triangle. And in order to calculate this triangle, we're going to have to find the bottom corner, right? One more price in this market. So to get that price, okay, we've got a point here along either our marginal cost equation or our marginal revenue equation where the quantity is 24. So we're going to plug 24 into one of those equations. I usually pick marginal cost just because I think addition is easier than subtraction. So we've got 1/2 times Q is 24, and that gives me 12. This is the point down here. Now that I've got all the points labeled on my graph, I can calculate deadweight loss pretty easily. Remember a triangle, we've got 1/2 times the base. That's going to be 40 minus 20, 24. And then the height of the triangle will be 36 minus 12. So that gives me $192 in lost surplus due to this monopoly. All right, new material coming up in the next video. I'll see you there.